Since we talk about iterators, it's probably a good idea for us to talk also about generators, another important concept in Python. So generators, there are iterators, but you can only iterate them over once. So think as they are resumable functions. So you can just run a function up to a certain condition, and then when you reach that condition, you will stop, and then you can continue later on. As in regular functions, as you return a single computed value, generators, they return an iterator that will generate the stream of values according to the execution. So every time you call that function will, if that function implements a generator, it will start where it left off. Okay, so let's see some examples how they look like, right? Let's make some room here for us. And let's say we have our function right here, like generate ints. And of course, we're going to receive ints for this. And then for I in the range of whatever value was passed, like an n here, we're gonna go there and yield, which is the reserved word for the iterator, and we're gonna yield the value of I, in which we are iterating over. What does this mean for us? It means that when we call this function, for every value that I return, I'm gonna return the function, and I'm gonna make a pause on that function on the specific value that we're playing off. All right, so let's say here, let's of course run this. Okay, and then now we have g as in our generate function, in this case our ints, and then we're going to pass the value of 3. Okay, and then we run this, and let's take a quicker look here. What is the type of g? Just for us to figure out what is exactly that we're returning. So here you see that we're not returning the actual value of I, but we're returning an iterable that is a generator that we're going to go over it every time we call the function next, which already learned into iterators, right? So if we have print here and I say, hey, give me the next value of g, and let's copy this because we want to run some couple times. And if we run this, the first value is 0, then the second value is 1, and then 2, and every time I call that function up to a certain value, because when we call this function, we're going to run 3 times, and then this 3 times they're going to be kind of pause in g, and every time I take the next value of g goes there and execute the function where it left off. So it ran for I equals 0, and then it stopped and returned it. And then we went there, print it out, take the next, and when we take the next again, it goes there, run for 1, stops, return, and print. So if we try to do this again, we're going to have the same error that we had previously with the iterator, because we're running more times than the actual are allowed in this case right here. Okay, let's try to do this, for example, with the string, to see what happens. Let's say we have a string right here, and then this string here is called mooncake. And then for that string there, we're gonna go there and print, and we're gonna take the next value of my string. And why this is probably not a good idea? Well, as you may know, the string object is not an iterator, so you cannot take the next element out of this as we had it before, so you won't be able to run that. Okay, so I'll leave some links for you to study a little bit more about generators, but that's pretty much it. So thank you and happy coding.